Okay guys and gals, for this video I'm going to show you where you want to position your tilt switch on your garage door, and I'm going to show you how to very precisely set it on there so that when that garage door opens, if you have your security system turned on, it's going to go off in case you have an intruder. Now, here's two questions I'm going to answer for the viewers. Let's say hypothetically, and this happened to me, let's say hypothetically while you're at work, your tilt switch that's stuck to the garage door falls and hits the floor. See what happens when that happens, that sends a signal to LiveWatch, and LiveWatch, they don't know that that hit the floor, and they don't really care. All LiveWatch is going to do is they're going to send you a text message. If that's how you have it set up on your smartphone, they're going to send you a text message and they're going to ask you, is this a false alarm or is this the real deal? Now you're standing there, you just got the text message, and you have to determine, is this a false alarm or the real deal? Now if you don't respond within seconds, LiveWatch doesn't care. They're calling the police. You have to make a decision. But if you're not at home, if you're at work or you're out doing something and this hits the floor and it's not an actual intruder, how would you make that decision? Well, it's very simple. I want you to think about this. This is very smart how the LiveWatch security system works. You see, I have a second switch here because I played with this quite a bit. When this hits the floor, this sends a signal to LiveWatch that your system's been breached. When you get that, when you get the text that says false alarm or not false alarm, you just hit false alarm. Because if the cops come out on a false alarm, that could cost you money. Very simple. You hit false alarm. But you're saying, wait, Highboy, that could be a real intruder. I'm saying, yeah, it sure could. But the way the LiveWatch works is this: they're in the nest, man. They're in a landmine field. Because you hit false alarm, and you just go in and make sure that your system is still on. And guess what you got all through the house? Now you got motion sensors. So if they're going to breach this and you hit false alarm, and you go right in, you make sure your whole system is still up, man, they're going for the next door, and in this garage, man, I've got motion sensors. It's going to trip it again, and guess what? Get the police over there. I got a problem. So you can decipher whether or not you have an actual intruder or whether this hit the ground. But now, you don't want this hitting the ground. You really don't, okay? Why? Because they break, and then you got to get another one, right? LiveWatch was really awesome. They sent this one, no charge, right? So before we go any further in this video, I want to thank LiveWatch. If you like what you see through this LiveWatch security system, give LiveWatch a call and ask for Brandon. Tell him that Highboy sent you, because if you tell LiveWatch that I referred you, then I get time taken off. Then that saves me money on my bill, and then if you like it, you refer your friends, then you get money taken off your bill. And it's a referral process, and that is why LiveWatch is more affordable. They're by word of mouth. You know what? No contract, great service, and you'll really like Brandon. He's a good guy. So what do you say I'm going to show you how to position this, and then I'm going to show you the bracket I made, and I'll show you how this bracket works so you can take the lid off and you can service this as you need it without ever removing the bracket. Okay, let's go. Alright, the best location for your garage door tilt switch is towards the top of the garage door, because you want the fastest possible reaction time. It's a tilt switch. It has to tilt to send the signal. So the further down on the door, the longer it's going to take to throw that signal. But when you get it higher up like this, immediately that garage door opens, it's tilting, right? So you want to stay ahead of the intruder, and that's how this whole system is set up. All right, now how do we set it into position? All right, first off, do you see the arrow? the arrow is pointed towards the door. There's my arrow towards the door. Okay? Second, do you see this little square button right there? It opens the inspection cover. By the way, I will be doing a separate video on this, but you want to know something really neat about this? Let's say you're at work and your son or your daughter have their friends over, and one of their friends want to be sneaky and they want to disable this. You want to know what this sends me? The minute that cover comes off, it sends me a signal it's been tampered with. These are tamper proof, okay? So follow along on my channel, because I'm always going to talk about this stuff about LiveWatch, because this is the greatest security system you could ever put on a house, okay? So now, the arrow goes towards the door. This little push button and this little round thing, they're going to be to your left, okay? Now, this is how I built my bracket. I built it to where I don't have to remove it if I don't want to. I can pull these sheet metal screws, pull it apart, but this is a piece of stainless steel. I just went salvage yard, found it, brought it home, pounded it out of my vise. Nothing, it's all redneck. Look, this isn't precision, but it works precision. But how I've done it is I've left enough room that I have this piece of foam. It's just tight enough that this sensor is on a new piece of sticky back tape. I simply push that into there, and that will always hold that sensor. That sensor will not fall off of there. Now, if I need to service it, whatever, if I need to replace it, now I come over and I hit that little box like that, and I open it, and I don't want to do that. I mean, this thing is working. I'm going to leave it. But now I can kind of service it, piece of heavy-duty stainless steel like that, whatever you want to make yours out of. I thought all kinds of different ways. I thought of just a leather belt, right? Taking leather strapping and two holes above and two beyond, below it, and a little bit of foam, and just screw that down, and that leather strap would hold it. There's sky's the limit. It's easy, right? I believe the tape will work. I believe if you just take the tape and you put it on the first time, it will work. But what did I do? The first time I put it on and it wasn't quite right, and I pulled it off and I restuck it and it was on. And what happened? 2 weeks later it fell off while I'm at work. I didn't know if I had an intruder, but I did do that little idea I told you about, and that's pretty nice. So that's how I got that set up. And incidentally, on all of my sensors, my motion sensors, those I have with the sticky back and hard mounted. They're not going to come off the wall. They're stay to put, right? And that's kind of how I try to get everything. So there we go. Okay. So now another thing on the one correction on the door sensors. The door sensors, you really can't do that. The tape is more than enough. But once again, if a door sensor trips, if something happened, it came off for whatever reason, right? You put it on and it was dirty and it came off. You can figure your system out by how. If you get that signal and you have to hit false alarm because you're really not sure, you just make sure that your system is still set. And if you have an intruder inside and you have the indoor motion sensors, they'll set those, and then you know you got a problem. I've been working with this. I've been working with this now. I've tried to fool my system so many times. I can't even fool this system. It works good. So there you go. Garage door tilt sensor is ready to go. So if you like this, call Brandon, tell him Highboy sent you. I always appreciate it. I think it's the best way to go. No contract, great service, great people. Guys and gals, that's the end of this video. God bless. We'll see you on the next.